Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, building experiences that connect, remove friction, and deliver insights. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Kurt Davis. Kurt is a technology executive and investor with over 2 decades of experience building tech startups throughout Silicon Valley, Europe, and Asia. From 2008 to 2017, he worked with a startup called Boku, where he led the global business development, focusing on deals with Apple, Microsoft, Spotify, Sony, and more. His book, Navigate to the Lighthouse, a Silicon Valley guide to executing global deals, documents and chronicles his journey from closing small deals to transactions worth billions of dollars. Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Kurt Davis.
Hi, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Well, first off, Kurt, why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because, and in fact, why do I write this book? Maybe is a more pertinent question. It's because I kind of like to share my experiences and knowledge with others. I think everyone's life is a journey, a unique journey, and we all learn different things. And we all have that right to share that knowledge. And I think this book is a narration of 8 years of hard work that not many people have gone through, and that can be immensely helpful to other entrepreneurs. And so I just did this because I wanted to share this information, not just my information, but from the team I worked with who are very successful executives, and give that back to other entrepreneurs like us.
And let's expand on that a little bit. Tell me a little bit more about your book, Navigate to the Lighthouse, a Silicon Valley guide to executing global deals.
So this book talks about how we went from being a very small company of 4 or 5 people and working on small deals of hundreds and thousands of revenues a month to scaling that up to incrementally bigger and bigger and bigger deals, all the way to a large deal with Apple that took the company to an IPO in London. And over that time, we learned in a kind of how to transition our business in different step functions. So in this proverbial meeting, crossing the chasm, which, that book that was originally written now 20 years ago, you kind of hit the end of your early stage adopters, and then you need to leap the chasm to the next stage. And so we actually do that not once, but twice. And so we talk about how we did that and the steps to do it. So that's how the book is going. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to change the game or change the trajectory of your business through business development deals, this is a good source for that.
And I believe Jeffrey Moore wrote that book, and I believe a quote from that is, you can't cross a chasm in 2 bounds.
Correct. I believe that's a good one.
So to talk a little bit about that, talk about a little bit that crossing the chasm, because it's either a yes or no situation. It's you're either going to make it or you're not. That leap of really faith in a way.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. You know, a lot of people, when you're there as an entrepreneur, you've gotten that initial customer set, and then you're looking over the chasm and you see, well, maybe I can do a deal with this, or maybe this company, or maybe that company. And the questions then come: how do I contact them? How do I approach them? Like, what do I sell to them? I don't have the product they need, but I need to figure out if I can talk to them so I can develop the product they need, and so forth and so on goes that kind of person in your head asking these questions. And so what we do is distill those questions into chapters, and we say, okay, this is then how you approach it, and all the way to, from the strategy to if you think of it like a chessboard, you kind of have your chessboard, you got your strategy, let's go back to the metaphor of a sailboat. You're strategically planning, you've got your map, where you kind of want to go. And then the next point is you're actually making moves, and you're analyzing, you're putting together your team, you're making strategic acquisitions, you are doing deals that would help you get to that lighthouse deal, to the bigger deal. And then finally, it's the closing time. Actually, what do you say to these people? How do you negotiate with them? How do you get this big company to move the way you want them to?
And which of the questions that you come up with, maybe not the most important, but which one is the most often overlooked or even neglected in some way? People don't spend enough time on it.
I think what I see happen most often is people give up. They don't think they can actually get there. They say this deal will take too long. It will, even if we get the deal, it will take all of our resources because we're such a small company. And while these are valid concerns, that question usually means you should probably go after that company because, or those deals, because they will be potential trajectory changing deals. The key there is to structure and to create boundaries around the deal so that you're not getting kind of pulled in the wrong direction, right? And so I think that question is identifying, is that deal that's shining, or they might even have contact you. Is that worth investing a year of my time in? Well, the answer is yes, if it's only 20% of your time. So.
And which one do you think is the opening chapters? Where do you start? What's the kind of the first question that you've got to ask yourself when you're going down this path?
The first question you have to answer is, do I want to strategically invest against it? So do I want to put resources against this, whether it's one, biz dev person or salesperson that turns into a biz dev person, as well as product and engineering time, to invest against it so that it increases the probability that you get the deal. So, if you're looking out and this deal might take 12, 18, 24 months, do you really want to do that? And is it worthwhile? Will your ROI be worth it if you get it? And so the key there is then chasing deals that are big enough. In some ways, they're almost dreamers deals. Like you're like, can I actually get that deal? But if you got it, it changes the whole game. And so that's the starting point, is how do you look at it? How do you frame your mind? How do you analyze it? How do you actually statistically analyze the deal from an empirical frame point?
And Kurt, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
I think my parents, my dad and mom, were heroes of mine. My dad was an entrepreneur, and he ran a tax accounting business in Tennessee and grew that from one office to 30 or 40 over the course of his journey. And he also was able to do that while, raising a family and a challenging family, if I should say, and kept it all together. But they were certainly my heroes.
And lastly, Kurt, how can somebody contact you?
Easiest way is email, katie@katiealive.com, and go to my website, katiealive.com, and I'm very accessible. So feel free to drop me an email if you like what I'm doing and want to hear some more or have some questions. I'm always happy to chat.
All right. His book is Navigate to the Lighthouse, a Silicon Valley Guide to Executing Global Deals. We'll put a link in the description of the episode. Kurt Davis, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Thank you.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.